We begin this year in our new studio, FM1, and a new look. More on that a little later. Today, an examination of a U.S. border that you might not have given much thought to. Like our southern border with Mexico, it's the target of nonstop efforts by drug traffickers, human smugglers, and possibly even terrorists. But this U.S. border is in the Caribbean, and the job of guarding it is arguably even more complicated. Our Caribbean journey begins at the San Juan, Puerto Rico seaport with a ferry that comes in 3 times a week from the Dominican Republic. It carries up to 1,000 passengers and cargo, including vehicles, all getting their last look before entering the U.S. How does that make it easier for smugglers, the fact that Puerto Rico is out here, but it is a U.S. territory?
Mainly because containerized cargo leaving Puerto Rico to the U.S. mainland doesn't see customs anymore. They don't see CBP anymore.
After this?
After this, so we are the last line of defense.
Robert Vaquero is a top border security official here. So if they make it through Puerto Rico, they're home free?
Well, basically, yes.
The U.S. territory of Puerto Rico, about the size of Connecticut, is about 1,000 miles from the mainland U.S. It's only about 80 miles from the Dominican Republic and Haiti across what's called the Mona Passage. It's also a straight shot from Venezuela and Colombia. That positioning makes it prime territory for drug runners and human smugglers moving illegal products into the U.S. I don't think most Americans think of Puerto Rico as a place that is sort of on the front lines of the war on drugs.
It is, and it's very unique. We're in a unique strategic location. It's an easy route for smugglers to actually move their narcotics or any other type of contraband to any secluded beach, maybe to some of the mangroves, maybe to other outer ports, other outer sister islands that we have here in Puerto Rico. So it is strategic, and also it's considered domestic if you're flying in anything from actually Puerto Rico into the U.S. mainland. So that's a smuggler's dream.
This is where U.S. border agents recently seized 311 pounds of cocaine shaped into 122 bricks and hidden in a tank. Drug-sniffing border dogs in Puerto Rico have found boxes from Colombia labeled red roses, but containing cocaine valued at more than $700,000. Cocaine has been hidden in shampoo bottles and found inside books, and drugs found inside dry erase markers. And while we're here at the San Juan Seaport, one of the canines seems to be onto something.
So you buckle there. They have a little pull strap right here.
Okay. For the bad guys, moving people and drugs carries great risks, as we're about to see. If you think the southern U.S.-Mexico border is challenging, imagine patrolling a border that's nothing more than an invisible line in the ocean, 12 nautical miles out to sea.
There's thousands of square miles of ocean to cover, all the way coming up from Venezuela, Colombia, all the way here to Puerto Rico.
Jeffrey Schneeberger is a Marine agent with Customs and Border Protection. Anything else you want to say about the job, or what people ought to know about what happens over here?
Yeah, I mean, it's still the Wild West out here, I think. On the water, it's a needle in a haystack at that point. It's not a line in the sand that you cross. A plane can only do so much with that needle in the haystack, and a boat can only do so much.
When boats containing drugs or illegal immigrants are spotted, agents coordinate with their partners in the air. Here, air units are watching as agents intercept a Colombian fast boat racing through the Caribbean Sea toward Puerto Rico. Here, they're onto a drug boat from Venezuela. This video shows border agents chasing down a boat carrying 3 smugglers and 220 pounds of cocaine.
Plenty of fuel, avionics, crew patch, special equipment.
We're on a Customs and Border Protection Black Hawk helicopter. Agents show us a more than 1,000-foot-high antenna on the western side of Puerto Rico that smugglers use as a beacon. Then we fly out over the turquoise blue waters to Desecheo Island, a deserted national wildlife refuge. Christopher Columbus landed here on his second voyage to the New World. Today, smugglers charge immigrants $3,000 to $6,000 each for a boat ride to get dropped off on one of these treacherous remote islands, hoping to get picked up by U.S. patrols. Officials tell us a lot of illegal cash transfers happen here, too. In the past year, throughout Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, more than 1,400 illegal immigrants were picked up. About a third of them already had criminal histories. In September, a makeshift boat overloaded with 38 illegal immigrants from the Dominican Republic capsized. 3 of them drowned. A Black Hawk crew like the one we're with provided surveillance and cover when 2 men from the Dominican Republic were intercepted in a boat carrying more than 4,000 pounds of cocaine worth $47 million. A U.S. Border Air Team spotted this boat carrying illegal immigrants and tracked it until it was intercepted by the Coast Guard. We wait until dark and head out on a different aircraft, a Dash 8 turboprop plane. Our assignment, to patrol the Mona Passage between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Due to the sensitive nature of their work, the crew doesn't want us to show their faces. Before long, we spot a suspected drug boat. There's a boat off the Dominican Republic.
There's a vessel coming off the Dominican Republic.
In November, a plane like ours spotted a boat full of 28 illegal immigrants. It could have capsized and had no real life-saving equipment on board. Boat agents rescued them and learned 5 of the immigrants had snuck in before. Tonight, our airplane crew that spotted the suspicious boat quickly becomes distracted by immediate concerns. There's a mechanical malfunction with our plane.
Left autopilot yield on fail. So now I cannot engage the autopilot. We're getting all sorts of messages here. I'm not around anymore with this.
No, I don't want to mess around with it anymore.
We end up having to burn off fuel so we can land. So normally if you saw a boat like that and we weren't having a maintenance issue, what would we do?
We would definitely go and see if we get a visual on that.
And tonight we just have to let it go. Mechanical malfunctions aren't all that uncommon, they tell us, making their job all the more difficult. Back at the San Juan seaport, it turns out the drug-sniffing dog was onto something big.
And you can see the plastic thing. It's loaded. This one is loaded. It looks like a contraband packages. I'm going to put it in our test kit. See what we get.
In the rear brake drums of the Ford van, Customs and Border Protection found 6 pounds of heroin valued at $162,000. Another big find at this lesser-known U.S. border hotspot.
So Puerto Rico is a hot point. They don't have to go to customs anymore. So this is their last point. This is actually the last line of defense for anything coming into the U.S.
A U.S. border that lies in the Caribbean Sea, where there's no chance to build a fence. Officials report a spike in drug seizures in the Caribbean sector. They say when security tightens up on the Mexican border, things become more active there.